YouTube, what the crap's going on? Heir of Carthage back, and I'm going to be playing a battle against Lorenzo. And I'm going to be the Sassanids. He's picked the Visogoths. And, you know, that's the fun thing about quick battles, that you never know what to expect. I wanted to bring a really risky army, just for fun here. I definitely had my doubts about this army, and the Sassanids are a tough pick. And the Visogoths are actually a very nice counter to the Sassanids in many ways. Right now the Visogoths have access to, you know, much better cost-effective units, in my opinion at least. Anyway, I bring a crazy risky Sassanid army. My main line is Sogdian warriors, which are very shaky, and part of me almost wishes that I may have just brought some Persian brigade instead, because they're cheaper and probably would have probably performed better in most situations. I've got 4 Persian mounted warriors, 2 on each flank, and I actually have a couple of Camel Clibinari in the center and a Spabid general. And they're the camel, and on my flanks the Persian mounted are being supported by a Grifpanvar Cataphract, and then in the center I've got 2 Svaran Cataphracts. So my army is very gimmicky, and I have 1 Svaran crossbow cav here, which I just brought these guys just for the sake of. They are extremely hard to use. I can't understand why these guys were balanced into the game the way they were. They're expensive. They do have crossbows, which is great, but they are slow. They are slower than heavy cav, and they're medium crossbow cav. Or they're like the same speed as heavy cav. Anything can catch them on the battlefield. And they don't have Parthian shot, even though it seems like it would be easier to turn around and shoot a crossbow rather than a bow and arrow. So they really don't serve a whole lot of purpose. I just wanted to show you me trying to use them, and we'll see whether or not I have any success. Otherwise, this could be a very potentially deadly unit for the Sassanids, and to be honest, they need it. The Sassanids need something. They are a very underwhelming faction. Now, they do have some very interesting tools. I'm going to link you to a video, if I can remember to, in the comments, and if I forget to, maybe someone else can link it to you. Wolf of Remus, he made an interesting video, or I guess we'd call him Blade Master. Blade Master made an awesome video about the slingers, what do you call them? The Armenian slingers. They're actually pretty decent units. Anyway, I'll talk about that another time. Check for the link to the video. It's really interesting to go watch it. And Blade Master has a really cool series going on there, the unit focus series. A very very clever, very entertaining series. I like it. They're a nice complement to a lot of the stuff that I see Maximus doing. That's also very entertaining and brings you a lot of knowledge. So if you're looking for even more, Blade Master is got a good channel. It's called Wolf of Remus, I believe, Total War, or something like that. I could be getting it wrong. I'll try and put links in there. Anyway, the Visigoths. They have they have a spear on each flank, 6 Germanic horsemen. I am screwed with these 6 Germanic horsemen around. These guys are going to work my cav over so bad. And then he's got 4 Germanic archers, and these guys have very nice range, along with decent or very good missile damage. And basically, he can poke at my cavalry from a long ways away, and my Sogdian warriors don't have a very good block chance either. So my army is actually quite vulnerable to missiles. Now, fortunately for me, these Camel Clibinari have ridiculous health. And Heir, why are you bringing Camel Clibinari? These guys are actually quite good infantry killers, and they have a lot of health. And they're also very cool looking, but I've brought them specifically to go after infantry. So you'll notice that my Sogdians are supported by Camel Clibinari and Svaran Cataphracts, with the expectation that they can kill infantry. Now over here I really feel like Lorenzo gets himself too split up, so I go ahead and do a Grifpanvar charge into these spearmen and just absolutely wreck them. But then my micromanagement laps, and he gets clean charges on my already weaker Persian mounted warriors. And against my Camel Clibinari, which I really just brought over here for numbers, they are really, really, really bad at killing cavalry. But my Grifpanvar just absolutely wrecks these Germanic spearmen. And it is 2-on-1 here against his Germanics, but he's got another unit that's going to come around. But I'm going to try and bring my Grifpanvar around and hit him in the back. So we'll see if that works. So yeah, that's pretty much kind of what's going on so far. Now over here, he catches me as well. I didn't get any charges. I'm having to run away. My Svaran Cav really haven't gotten any kills yet, and I've already lost 10 men because they're easy to catch. But here, they actually do get some kills. So you can see they're going to be annoying. And that's really the only reason why I brought them, is to try and be annoying, and then I'm going to forget about them as well. So big mistake. But I am winning temporarily, at least over here. I don't know how good of a trade it is for me at the moment, but I'm definitely getting the better of Lorenzo over here for the moment. And getting a nice rear charge here. But he overall, I think, has brought a very nice army, and it's going to be a hard counter to me. Like right here, it's like, okay, what do I do? Do I really want to charge Thracian warriors with Sogdians? No. And I was too slow and didn't get the charge with these Svaran cataphracts. And I should already be turning around like way before now to charge these Thracian warriors in the back with the Svaran cataphracts. My spa bed should have intercepted these guys. So had my micro been good, I could have given Lorenzo some real trouble here. My army is very gimmicky in the sense that lot of cavalry should give me a nice advantage if I use it right, but the risk is that some of my cavalry is shock cavalry, which is very vulnerable to Germanic cav, and then my mounted warriors are much worse. And then I had these Camel Clibinari, which would have done very well versus his infantry, one of which got killed in this fight, and the other one that's just sitting here because I'm not very good at microing a widespread fight. So when Lorenzo spreads up like this, it's actually playing to a weakness, regardless of whether he knows it's a weakness that I have. It's definitely one of my weaknesses. My micromanagement just usually is not fast enough to handle a spread out fight, and as you can see, I've got units sitting idle in the center while I'm just trying to keep up somewhere on the flanks. Now my Savaran Cav here actually managed to do pretty well somehow in extended combat. They've gotten 37 kills, which is not cost effective, but more than I expected off of them. My Persian mounted warriors getting overwhelmed, so basically this flank's getting overwhelmed. His Thracian warriors, again, I need to be charging these guys. Charge, and I'm not. I keep sending infantry in after them because honestly, you want to know the reason? During the fight, I didn't even check to see what kind of men he had here. I do that sometimes. Like, I get jumpy kind of in the battles, and like I don't scout well or something like that. Anyway, my spa bed just gets wrecked by a Gothic general. Or not my spa bed. The Gothic general has wrecked a Camel Clibinari unit. I come after him with a Persian mounted warrior and my spa bed. This Gothic general is going to be hard to take down. So I do win this side, but it was so Pyrrhic, and I'm getting beat up so bad over here where his infantry is that it doesn't matter. So I got the better of Lorenzo over here pretty much the whole time, except for where he ruined that Camel Clibinari of mine without it doing anything. And now I've got 2 cavalry units and a spear bearing down on my flank, infantry that's already losing. Sogdian warriors really are bad. Their melee attack's good, but everything else about them's crap. So there's really no hope for them, and I definitely should have brought some Persian Brigade, I think, instead, or just brought some Dalamite warriors. That's one of the challenges for the Sassanids, is that their infantry is just very bad. So if I would have brought Armenian slingers, they would have been quite good versus his archers. But the thing is, the Germanic cavalry just gives the Visigoths a huge advantage. And right here, Lorenzo's killing his own general, but he's trying to kill mine as well. At this point, it doesn't really matter because he's got such a massive advantage. Otherwise, you'd want to be very careful about killing your own general. So I do kill him, but I mean, what am I going to do? He's got 2 Germanic cav left. If he didn't have the cav, it'd still be very hard for me because he's got the pikes and all these archers. And the archers are going to take their toll on my cavalry while they approach. These Gripen Var cataphracts would get beat up by archers pretty bad, and my other units are probably not great versus them either. So I managed to make it a decent fight. I would say it was a clear victory here for Lorenzo for sure. My army was meant to be kind of risky and goofy and fun, and to that extent I succeeded. To the extent of micromanaging it the way it needs to in order to win, I failed miserably. But you can see the idea I was going from. Give him so many cavalry units to deal with that he'll screw up somewhere, and you'll make a break on his infantry and his bows, and eventually you can try and overwhelm him. But it didn't work, and I think he did nicely when he split up all around me, because it gave me too much to worry about in order to micromanage all that fights. His army was more forgiving in that spread out scenario than mine was, plus he did a better job moving his troops around, so I'm going to lose this one for that attempt. Now, the army I brought here is very risky. I'm not recommending it as an army to bring, but this is the kind of way that I like to play in quick battle. Bring something fun. It's like, have fun or go home. So it definitely would have been a safer pick for me to go with like Tagmata spam. Definitely a safe pick for Lorenzo to go with those Germanic cav, and not only a safe pick, but a sound pick. I guess I'm a little crazy that way. Call me crazy. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I just think it's so much fun when you take a crazy army like this and you win. Doesn't matter if you lose, sometimes it's still kind of fun. His build, I think, is a better example of a more functional build than what I brought. But at the same time, I had some tools here that I didn't end up using very well. I had enough cavalry on the flanks to really keep his Germanic cav busy. And that leaves 2 Camel Clibinari and 2 Svarn Cataphracts in the center that I really should have wrecked his infantry with. And if I would have paid closer attention, probably had multiple opportunities to do so. So it's really a miss on my part by not doing that, because that's what those units specialize at. And I'll just try and give you an example real quick. Let's run into a custom battle. The poor Sassanids, they do need some help. But they're still a cool faction. I really like them. If they would make some of these units worthwhile, like these Elite Immortals are awful. And Armenian Spears, meh. Can't do any special abilities, really. Persian Levy and Pagan Band are awful. Persian Brigade is actually probably some of the best infantry these guys have. The major downside is they have no health or armor, and neither one of those can be upgraded. Elite Daylamites are very underwhelming for their cost, but they're the sturdiest infantry you're going to get. Bow-wise, they don't have anything that's really super cost-effective. I mean, some of their bows are okay-ish, but like this cheap Persian bow doesn't have precision shot, which kind of sucks, and it's low ammo. These Royal Persian archers could be cool if they would lower their price some, which would kind of make the Sassanids have an interesting advantage. Armenian Slinger is definitely a cool unit, but that's not what I came here to show you. What I wanted to show you was the Camel Clibinari. So this is the reason right here why the Sassanids really struggle in this game. You can make up for crappy infantry if you have good cavalry, which they do. They got great shot cavalry. Grivpa and Var are amazing shot cavalry for the price. But the reason why they're not very good is because in their melee cav, look at this, you got a 525 scout cav, really, and a 575 scout cav. These units are beyond pointless in multiplayer. They're fun in campaign, and I use them to good effect in campaign. They're pointless for multiplayer. At this price, they are, at least. They should cost less than the Persian Mounted Warriors, and then they might be worth something. The Camel Clibinari is an anti-infantry unit. It's got like a, I think it's got like a mace or something for its damage. No, it's got an axe. So these are an anti-infantry unit. And then you've got these Persian Camel Raiders, which, who knows what's up with these guys. Their stats are atrocious for the price. No idea why this unit is a medium melee cav with bad melee attack, mediocre health compared to the Camel Clip. What is the point of this unit? I guess because it's a raider. Again, plays a great role in campaign potentially, but horrible in multiplayer. So there's a lot of stuff like this that needs to be fixed. Unless you just want Attila to permanently be only certain units being used. Soviet Camel Raiders, same thing. It's a Raider Cav, worthless in multiplayer. Potentially useful in campaign. So it's units like this that kill the Sassanids. But let's take a look at the Camel Clibinari. I really like this unit from a looks standpoint, although it looks better than it's worth sometimes. So let's just kind of give you an idea how it can function here. I'll throw some javelinless units in here, so that way I can just kind of demonstrate that way. They have very high health on these. Oh, dadgummit. It's I had it set to a siege battle because that's where I took the screenshot for the Sassanid campaign. Let me go back out and I'll set it to a land battle. Come on. And guess what? We're not doing it on the swamp, that's for sure. I've been on the swamp enough recently, it seems like. Come on. Dang you, Attila. You mean dang you, Air, for not looking to see that it was set to siege battle. Yeah, I know, whatever. Come on. Alright. Concede defeat. Oh no, I was defeated. How dare I? Okay, so we are going to obviously switch over to land battle. And we will use... yeah, we'll just keep it on the same map. Should be fine. I'm going to switch over to the Sassanids. Give me a chance to see what this map looks like anyway. Camel Clibinari, Palatina Guard, and a couple of Protectors Domestici. Just to kind of give you an idea, Protectors Domestici have a pretty decent health and armor and all that kind of stuff. Not very offensive, but this is kind of give you an idea of what the Camel Clibinari could be capable of. And it's what they're better at. So it is an interesting potential specialist unit for the Sassanids, but again, since the Sassanids lack solid melee cav, and you might be like, why don't you just upgrade Persian cav? It's cheap. The health isn't high enough, and that's why Germanic cav is so good to upgrade. Its health is good. The Persian cav has decent stats for the price and a medium cav, but it's medium and it has low health, and those two things can't be upgraded. So maybe if they made it to where upgrades affected health, something like that might be good, or maybe there's a specific health upgrade or an armor upgrade or a speed upgrade. Something like that could potentially change the way things work, but otherwise you're just going to have to rebalance units to have any prayer of it playing out. I thought that... Do I win if... You'll lose if time. I'm the attacker. Okay, so the Romans are going to just sit here. So we're going to need to trick them into getting unbraced, and I'll try and demonstrate. Oh, and they've used sharp stone beds in front of... Try and slow down the charges. Just make sure they don't have any other traps set up for me. Alright, I'm going to fast forward so that my guys can rest a little. I want to make sure they're fully rested before doing anything, because they're going to get tired. Okay, so the Romans are charging towards me. The Protectors Domestici. Oh, there's a lion running around out here. Oh, there's a little drop there in the map. That's pretty cool. So I get a good charge on the Protectores Domestici. At least I thought I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, just look at the wreckage that these Camel Clibonari put on these guys. Absolute wreckage. Killed half of their unit on a single charge, and I lost, 5 camels? And honestly, I'm surprised I lost the 5 camels, because these guys have such high health. It's probably because their melee defense is so low. But they do have solid armor. But anyway, that's what the Camel Clibonari are for. On a single charge, just absolutely wrecked the Protectors Domestici. And again, these guys are heavy. They have a good attack versus infantry with lots of armored piercing. This is going to be what they excel at. They're not going to be good for much of anything else. And like this, where you're going to get bogged down, you don't want to get bogged down. You want to just keep them moving like any melee cap. But you can see that in a couple of charges, just absolutely shredding. And it's only when I retreat that I'm taking these losses. So kind of give you an idea of the sturdiness of this unit and its potential against infantry. So already 83 kills on 2 charges, and you better believe I'm going to get a whole lot more as I come back into this. And now at this point they're getting tired, and the Romans are trying to brace all that stuff, so it'll start to slow things down. They do get tired quickly, but still a very, just train wreck for infantry to be getting hit by these guys. So again, you can see now already well over 100 kills and just flying up. As it starts to die down, you probably won't want to just leave them in combat, but they do have high health. They can stay in combat with sword infantry that has a low attack for a while. It's just not ideal. You would really want to charge back out while the enemy infantry is still getting up. But this just to give you an idea what the Camel Clibonari are capable of. Their morale's not so great, obviously, especially when they're losing like that. But yeah, a lot of kills on this unit, even not having used them absolutely brilliantly. So this is what I'd hoped to do with them in that previous battle, but I did not. Is it a fantastic unit? Not necessarily, but it is definitely an infantry killer for potential, especially if you can keep it rested, which I really can't at this point. But anyway, that's the Camel Clibonari. Cool unit. Potential to get a lot of kills on infantry. They do tire out quickly, though, because they're heavily armored and they're a heavy cav. But that's what they're for. They're for killing infantry. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this episode, this battle. Yeah, the axes definitely, and their health and axes do give them some staying power, but they really are going to get most of their kills on the charge, and that's where you should let them do it. And like I said, keep cycling them out. Anyway, HeirofCarthage, signing out for now. Hope you enjoyed it.